get a lot of questions about Durabond. Do I Durabond butt joints? Absolutely, I Durabond butt joints. You know, do I do this? Do I do that? Yeah. When I'm doing a whole house, I am pre-filling every seam, every butt joint throughout the entire house. I'm just doing it. It's what I was taught to do, and it's what I'm going to do. There's other areas that probably you can probably get away without pre-filling everything, you know, without pre-filling anything else. Matter of fact, I think I was talking about Arizona when I lived in Arizona, Phoenix. We didn't pre-fill anything in Arizona. None of the tapers did. It just wasn't. I don't know how necessary it was. Maybe we should have been pre-filling. I don't know. I was younger. I'm young. I'm dumb. I'm not the one who's going to get sued if everything went awry and fell apart. You know, they're not coming back to me. They're coming back to my boss. They're coming back to the company that I'm working for. But when you start having your own company, you want everything to be right, especially if you plan on being in business for a while. I mean, if you're just going to be a one-year wonder, show up, do a job, and leave, and only work for a year, and then get out of the trades, yeah, do it. Do what you want to do. Who cares? You know, you don't have to warrant anything. And oh, come on. There you go. Thank you. And, yes, I would pre-fill everything. All of my seams, all of my butt joints. Not the angles, though. You've seen me talk about the angles and stuff, why I don't do it. How a lot of times I just double tape them if they're big gaps. But there may be, you may not have the moisture problems. You might not have the settlement. In a place like Arizona, it's 110 degrees with 0% humidity most of the time of the year. Oh, look at what I just did. Just took a big gouge out of that. So maybe pre-filling isn't going to be all that important there because you don't have the movement that you have here. You have a lot of movement here. In the summertime, we can be 90, 100 degrees with 100% humidity. Wintertime, we can be 20 below zero, 40 below zero. I've seen it 40 below zero here, 0% humidity. If you don't have a humidistat on your house, you're getting zap, 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 shocked left and right. We have such a huge fluctuation. I've heard people talk about the West Coast, or the East Coast even, and the West Coast. And yes, you get into those East and West Coast areas, you got the ocean right there. You've got humidity changes and moisture changes. You're going to want to pre-fill. You're going to want to pre-fill all your butt joints, all your seams, to hold back the settlement. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot more settlement. If you don't do it, you're going to have a lot more settlement cracks than the people who do it. So it's just that simple. And that's a well-known fact, too. So I pre-fill because I want fewer settlement cracks. I think I told you about a builder once who called me up to do a year walkthrough on one of his houses. And I showed up at his house and I told him, I didn't tape this house. You hired somebody else to tape this house. And he goes, oh. He goes, honestly, Ray, he goes, I really thought you had done it because there was very little touch up after a year. They had a few cracks, just a few things that needed to be done. So he had to call the other contractor that he had hired to do the settlement cracks and to fix them. But I'm kind of known in the area to have very little work. After a year or two, there's very little settlement. And now they switch to this tape-on corner bead, and I don't even get called after a year. I don't even get a phone call. A year goes by, nobody even calls me. There is no settlement anymore. I don't have the settlement cracks now that we have the tape on the corner bead. And that usually was my biggest thing, was I had all of these corner bead lines just right here on the edge. You'd have a crack right there on the edge of the corner bead. But now that this is tape on, you don't get that anymore. It doesn't exist. Toss it out. And you see why, you see this color here. This is the drywall. This is the back side of this drywall, and you see it here. It's okay to finish the back side of drywall. That's okay. It doesn't hurt it. So they're going to caulk this in. They're going to paint this. This is the back side of the drywall. It's just sometimes on the back side of the drywall, there's a blister here. Hear it? So sometimes on the back side of the drywall, they don't care as much as the front side. So this has got a big blister here. So if I were to try to tape this joint, I have to get rid of that blister. Listen really, really closely. This is what it should sound like. Hear the difference? There's a big difference. And you would have to get rid of that blister if you're going to try to make that seam go away. Otherwise, you're never going to get it to go away. I have finished the backside of drywall many times because I cut it wrong. I cut it backwards and I had to hang it backwards. So shame on me. If you really, really like us, subscribe. What else? Subscribe, share, Amazon, Patreon. Hey, Patreon, if you donate enough money, we'll get you one of these, all right? Amazon, Patreon, subscribe, share, you name it. Let's grow. Let's be a big community. You guys have a great day.